Welcome to Greenshoe Radio, brought to you by Greenshoe Media Group. I'm your host, Mark Bunting. Our guest today is Frank Holmes, Interim CEO and Executive Chairman of HIVE Blockchain Technologies, trading under the ticker symbol HIVE on the TSX Venture. HIVE also now trades on the NASDAQ under the symbol HVBT and still trades on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. Frank, great to see you as always.
Great to be with you, Mark.
Now, the last time we spoke was in May. And since then, as I mentioned off the top there, HIVE has listed its shares on the NASDAQ. You said it was in the works at that time. So how is that enhancing awareness in the marketplace of HIVE? And what's the feedback been like, would you say?
Well, first of all, liquidity in the U.S. is more than doubled, almost tripled what Canada is. If you look last year in 2020, we traded 1.7 billion shares in Canada. And we traded about 400 million in over-the-counter U.S. So today, that's reversing, where you're getting much more liquidity in the U.S.
Now, you've said before that ultimately you'd like to see HIVE listed on other exchanges around the world, especially Asia, so the shares would effectively trade 24/7 like crypto does. So do you have a timeline for that?
It's in motion. You know, I can just share with you is that we're in conversations, signing letters of engagement for Asia and for the Middle East and for additional exposure in Europe, so we can get this thought process of 24/7 trading.
Now, Frank, since May, we saw a fair-sized correction in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then a strong recovery. You've said before you've experienced booms in gold and technology, but you've never seen anything like the fervor of the people involved in the crypto movement. So how do you explain that? You've talked about going to conferences, and there's something sort of ineffable, isn't there?
It's much more decentralized. The whole concept of this ecosystem is to be decentralized. And it is when it comes to the global enthusiasts. And I think that that's something just to really respect and appreciate, that there's conferences in New Zealand, Singapore, Toronto, New York, Miami, London, England, Russia, you name it. It's all over the world. The millennials have basically embraced this as a private property, as a liquid private property. Historically, non-bearer securities was taking away that you have to have a name registered. And the last real liquid big asset classes was gold and gold and silver coins. That if you have a car, it's your asset, but it's registered. You can't drive it unless you pay the state or the province money every month, or sorry, once a year. And licensing, you have to get checkups, etc. But when you own that silver coin, it's yours. You own that gold coin, it's yours, and you can go across borders with it. Digital money like Bitcoin, it's a private property, and it's decentralized. It's not controlled by any one bank or any one government, and so that really captures the fascination as a global asset class for people around the world.
From a political standpoint, the House of Representatives in the United States, as you know, is considering a part of the infrastructure bill that would treat crypto like stocks in terms of reporting to the IRS. Now, you've talked about what you call the G7 cartel, and you've also discussed the way China's cracking down on crypto. So how would you characterize what's going on, and how do you think this is going to play out?
Well, it's working just exactly with like 2018, but it's much more compressed. If we go back to 2019 was the bottom, is when JP Morgan announced their stablecoin. Then they stopped the trash talking on the crypto space. And then only a few months later, Facebook came over with Libra, and Bitcoin rallied to 14,000. And you saw the G20 finance ministers jump all over Facebook, you know, all of a sudden gonna have a global currency. That would just really upend them. And now they've changed the name. They're still with lots of drama. The Facebook whole experience here has been such a pushback. But the G7 includes Europe, and that's pretty significant when you look at GDP. When you have America, you have Japan, and you have most of the nations in Europe. And they've been going after, from Senate and Congress, legislation here and in Europe. You're seeing crackdown on all the exchanges, et cetera. It's just, to me, you're just seeing what we saw in the gold market, where there's a sort of a oppression that the GATA Gold Group have talked about, the sort of the suppression of gold prices. Well, governments go on to practice their MMT, that is modern monetary theory of just money printing for every problem. And it would expose one country after the other. But if they all work together, they can cover up this money printing collectively. And anything that's a threat to that, especially when it comes to crypto, then they have to jump over to regulate it. It's just the normal process of governments trying to get caught up because they all want to go crypto. They want this sort of this triple entry model of accounting, the biggest significant breakthrough in accounting since double entry by the Phoenicians and the Medicis in the 1400s. And this concept of this triple entry is growing greatly, and the blockchain being utilized around the world. Even Microsoft is talking about how they want to use the blockchain. I think you're going to see gold mining companies have to get away. It's from what's called blood gold from bad countries. They can turn around and say, no, they know that this gold came from a good place. That's only with blockchain technology. So does it work? Does it work? Well, Bitcoin shows it does work. And Ethereum comes along and shows the smart contract. It does work. So I think that the governments are pushing for their own digital currency. China's more advanced than the US and the G7 countries. So they don't want any competition. They don't want the US dollar's competition. They don't want oil that they're buying from the Saudis have to come in US dollars. They want it in their own currency. But the Saudis have said they want it to be backed by gold. So you're seeing the Chinese are big buyers of gold. They don't want Bitcoin. They don't want any of this. So we're just going through a normal evolution of crypto space.
All right, Frank, from a company news flow standpoint, HIVE recently ordered 1,800 Antminer S19J Pro miners from Bitmain Technology. And I'm going to pretend exactly what I know what that equipment is, but how does this fit into your overall equipment strategy? And is the equipment sector still backlogged right now?
So what happened last year this time, we started upgrading for mining Ethereum. Our GPU card, memory cards weren't robust enough. So we had to send them over to China in baskets of 5,000 and take out the 4 gigabyte memory card and put in and solder in an 8 gigabyte memory card. So we saw so many complications early, and we were starting getting late on getting our equipment also that we'd ordered from Bitmain and other places. So we said there's a huge logistics problem in Asia, and it's really the second derivative of the COVID problem. And there's other things driving that. So we started buying equipment from different sources to make sure there's no delays in that equipment. And so far, what we've done is we've not really given Bitmain a decent order. So we just said, okay, on a monthly basis, we're going to start spending this cash flow, and we're going to upgrade some of our old S9s with the best of the world, the Bitmain S19s. And basically, you got to think of you're making $2 a day off of an S19 machine for simple numbers, but the 19 you're making 20. So it is a huge, huge difference. And if you look at efficiency, it's 5 times more efficient. So we're happy that we made the previous month a Canaan. We explained to the market we're buying more of their machines. We bought micro machines also. So every month we've been basically making sure we're diversifying our risk. And that's really what we're doing. And the biggest challenge we have, Mark, is just getting these financials, our year end out there. And it's interesting, this MCO order basically says the insiders can't sell. I can't sell, and that's fine with me. But until we get those financials, and we're more complex, Mark. We're the first company to really be global. We had to get audits in Sweden. And they're in the Swedish language. So we have to get them translated. And then in Iceland, and we had Norway. Norway's gone now. And we have Iceland. And then we go into Canada, and we have French, and we have English. So you start trying to pull all that together, make sales and aggregate it all up to here. And the audit board in Canada has been very draconian on all the accounting firms. This is well covered in the Globe and Mail about 3 years ago, their sort of position. And so they are making it much more challenging and request. So we're doing it, we're complying. We were able to make the announcement. We made money every quarter last year. And it's easy on the crypto guys to take down our hashing power. This is all public. You can take down our hashing power, run it through, and one guy said that we made more in February than the previous quarter. Well, that's true, because it's just hashing power. Ethereum went up, we expanded our production, and it's simple math. That's what's nice about the business. I don't understand all the drama when you're a crypto miner because it's so clean and easy to figure out. The worry is hackers, so you put things in a cold wallet. But still, there's sort of drama or only a negative narrative by the G7 countries on this industry. This is not going away.
And what you were referring there to, of course, was having to delay the financial statements. Just to wrap that up quickly, do you have a sort of a timeline as to when investors can expect those to come out?
The faster, the better for my comfort. Get them out. We're going to sit by next week as to have them out. And I think they should be on. I've seen our meetings, and we have more meetings tomorrow. We keep getting this additional requests of information, but we're doing it. We're complying, and we're making money every day. We're able to tell the public, our run rate's over 220 million a year now.
Right. Let's get to those numbers. So as of July 30th, HIVE had an annualized income run rate of 200 million. So you're saying you're around 220 now. The market cap is around 1.5 billion. And you've said in a previous interview that you want to get that to about 10 billion, and then you can kick your feet up and retire. I'm sure you're half joking. I don't see you ever retiring from anything. But so how do you get there? How do you get to 10 billion, and what's the rough timeline there?
Well, you get a multiple to revenue when you're in a new industry that's much greater than the overall S&P 500. And when you're disruptive, you can just get higher volatility and a higher multiple to your revenue and a higher multiple to your cash flow. I would argue that crypto miners right now, and we show that we're much cheaper than data. We're data center business, but we're very focused on what we're doing in the crypto space. But it's really a data center business, and we have much higher margins. So we're talking 70 to 80% gross margins, and so we should enjoy a much greater multiple on that revenue. So if you're trading at 10 times that revenue, you should be a $2 billion market cap. So I think there's lots of potential for upside re-rating as we go through and get these financials out there. And touch wood, it'll be a very positive surprise because I think the end of March still we're the most profitable crypto mining company.
All right, Frank, I know you get asked a lot about Bitcoin versus gold. So there's a debate there. Do you want one or the other? But is that a false argument? And should investors really be thinking about Bitcoin and gold as a complementary inflation hedge strategy?
I think both. And here's what's interesting, Mark. I write a lot about what drives gold, and it's fear and love. 60% of the demand for gold is love. And in particular, when it comes out of Asia, where 40% of the world population is in China and India. Today, China and India represent 54% of all gold demand. A lot of this stuff is still for love, for gift giving, graduation giving. It's 24 karat. This is the year of the bull, you get a gold bull. And if you make a lot of money, you have then you're going to give your kid a bigger gold bull. Last year was a gold tiger. That's sort of, it's not in our culture in North America or in Europe like it is in Asia. 40% of the demand for gold is fear. And it's more about defensive position on money printing, poor government policies. But Bitcoin is about greed. It's about a new industry, first mover advantage. Yes, I'll protect myself against all this money printing MMT, but it's about making a big score. Whereas the gold investor, it's about defense. And that's the big differences I see in the personalities. When you go to these crypto conferences, you go to a gold miners conference, you go to the other one. The guys love the geology, they love the equipment. Over here, the mining guys we can get more efficiency, we can make more money, get a higher return on our capital, and we keep hodling our coins. And these are real believers because they hodl. That means they hold on for dear life. They do not like to sell their coins. Gold mining companies, they can't wait to sell their product. The only guy that was really out there hodling was Rob McEwen when he had Goldcorp. And he had the highest multiple to book value. And I think that some of these gold mining companies like Newmont and Barrick should, with their free cash flow, start hodling gold. You would then attract the younger investor that you really are, believe what your product is. You believe it because you own it. So they're the things that I see that are going to be really important going forward. But Bitcoin and Ethereum, there are differences. One's a smart contract. The other one is a different store of value. The Ethereum market is really the applications to the blockchain world. Bitcoin is money. It's gold money. It's private property. There's not many assets in the world where they're not registered by a bank or a government that you own. But you can carry your gold and silver all over the world, and you can carry and move your Bitcoin. So I think that this is very attractive to the global world to have non-bearer assets like this. And that's just, and with fractals, the fact you can buy fractions of Bitcoin, that makes it even more interesting.
That's an interesting comparison you made between the mentality of crypto investors and gold investors. Great stuff as always, Frank. Good to see you, and good luck with HIVE, and we'll talk to you again.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
All right, you've been listening to Greenshoe Radio, brought to you by Greenshoe Media Group. Our guest was Frank Holmes, Interim CEO and Executive Chairman of HIVE Blockchain Technologies, trading under the ticker symbol HIVE on the TSX Venture, and HIVE also now trades on the NASDAQ under the symbol HVBT and continues to trade on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. Thanks a lot for listening. We will see you next time. Take care.